Going back to US politics, I want to get your thoughts on this new ad campaign from a conservative group that's targeting illegal immigrants in the US, warning them not to vote in the upcoming election. The Spanish language ads warn non citizens that voting in a federal election is a crime punishable by deportation. But, Ami, the campaign also tells Hispanic voters that it's their patriotic duty to vote, those of them who are citizens. What are the polls telling us about the Hispanic vote? Because it's been a very fascinating exercise to observe how it's gone towards the Trump camp. But I think since Harris was installed as leader, that lead has diminished.
Well, I think one of the great geopolitical mistakes the Democratic Party has made is that look, there's no question that it has encouraged illegal immigration into this country and encouraged Hispanics to come into this country because in their view, they think ultimately when they become citizens that they will all vote for the Democratic Party. And it's true that first generation Hispanics outside of Cubans have been a bulwark for the Democratic Party. But what all the polls and all the studies have shown is that Hispanics are conservative, they're Catholic, they're hardworking, and they have migrated toward the Republican Party over time. And I think it's going to end up being a catastrophe for the Democratic Party. But I want to point something else out about the illegal voting. Look, I think that there's no question that there is illegal voting. There is voter fraud that happens. It happened to me personally. I want to point that out. Now, when I did my voter ID video, the reason why I did that video is because when I went to vote after maybe 6 months after my father passed away, and I voted in Los Angeles, the way it works there is you give your name, there's a book, and in that book, it lists all the names alphabetical order, so all the Horowitzes were in order. And I saw my father's name was in there, which made sense. He only died a few months before, but his name was checked. And I asked them, why is his name checked? They said, well, somebody came in, gave his name, his address, and they voted for him. That was clear voter fraud. And by the way, I showed the California Board of Elections, never got back to me, never cared. But the important point here is that, look, is there a mass, again, what the Democrats are doing is saying, well, there is no mass amount of illegals voting. That's a falsehood. That's not real. Well, look, it's not real that all the illegal immigrants are voting. But let me tell you something which people seem to miss, certainly the Democrats do, is that in New York City, where I am, the New York City Council and the mayor passed a law for non-citizens to vote, to actually allow them to vote. Only by the grace of the judicial system and the court, they threw that out. But the city is still appealing it. And Mayor Adams is still supporting this law to allow non-citizens to vote. So when you tell me this is not a real argument, this is something that Democrats are in fact trying to pass.
Absolutely. Ami Horowitz, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Always a pleasure.